So I'm coming on here later than I wanted to. I wanted to be done by 10, but this has just been one heck of a morning that I have to talk about because it's Costa Rica. And this morning before 9 a.m., I just had a typical Tico day, what I call it, a typical day of a gringo living in Costa Rica. Some really funny stuff has happened. As you can see, the photo I have in the beginning of my stream, that is a howler monkey. And that's what I got in my backyard. They're right in there right now. And it's really funny because howler monkeys, if you look at the picture, he's got rather large white scrotum. Here's the thing the science has figured out. The larger the scrotum on the howler monkey, the quieter the monkey is. It's always the big ones with the teeny tiny cojones that end up making the most noise. I'm Suzanne Tidkemeyer, and I really want to talk about a variety of silly things today. Ah, I have started packing, but I got to show you guys this. I am thrilled to have found this. We now have a thrift store here in Tamarindo, secondhand store, consignment store, and I got this bad boy, a Vera Bradley travel thing. And I don't really like her stuff, but this is right up my alley. This is like batik flowers and a floral thing. So guess what? I'm not using this as an organizer. I'm carrying this sucker on the plane because I can put my snacks in here, my pills in here, my Kindle and the Kindle charger in here, and all of my travel documents will fit fine and dandy there. So it's like 14 bucks. I love it too. It did turn out pretty, and that's not one that I usually like, but it's just the right colors and stuff for me, so I am using it. Oh, do you? Purple would have been cool too. I like purple. Purple would probably hold it better than hot pink, but we'll see. Hey, did anybody see the Real Entertainment News is live last night? I didn't go to it because I was having a bad day yesterday. I couldn't walk well. Things were just going haywire. I was super cranky after church, even though I did a video. I didn't tell anybody I was so cranky. I'm just cranky, cranky, cranky when it comes to having to go to church now. Now we're trying to figure out where we're going. There's advantages and disadvantages with each one. One plays 30-year-old worship music, and the pastor preached a sermon I've heard 30,000 times before. And my old Quiverful church even preached that same sermon. So I'm like, The other place only has a couple of couples. And the sermon was really negative, but it was okay negative. So there's that. So I don't know. That's all making me very cranky yesterday. My electricity and cable had some just came back on. A car hit a pole. I said, oh, that is the worst, B. I hate that. And I see that you're replying to me, Dizzy. I've watched some of it. I haven't heard all of it yet because I haven't been back here very long. I gotta tell you about my crazy Costa Rican experience so that you can live and learn. And if you come here, you'll know not to do this stuff and you'll know how it goes. So, long story short, I watched Real Entertainment News's video, some of it, and he's apologizing. He's apologizing to Waxy and Red and all the people that he's been feuding with. I'm not feuding with him. I'm one of these people where I am perfectly happy to let everybody live their life. And I don't have to agree with everybody. I don't always agree with Ren. Ren sometimes says stuff that I don't like. Hey, Christoph. So he sometimes says stuff I don't like. And either I say, hey, I think that was wrong, or I just don't say anything. Why? Because that's just how I'm wired. I've noticed that some people will take offense to anything he said. I don't think that's right either. He's got a whole bunch of people chasing him for all kinds of reasons. And so the man has apologized, and I think it behooves all of you that he's apologized to for you to forgive him and just move on. The more we're fighting among ourselves, the less energy we have to fight without a box of Kleenex. And that's who I have my dislike of. Speaking of which, I'm going to start doing the daily focus for her. Who is she blaming for the hacking and everything else every single day? She always has one person that's more of a victim, or more of a, not a victim, more accused than the others. Guess who that is today? Suck at the pickle. And no, I'm not sucking the pickle, I'm eating it. But going back to Ren, real quick. Now I'm eating pickles. He said he's going to go back and start doing food videos, and I think that's an excellent, excellent thing. I was in there the other night and he was talking about food. I pretty much ducked out because I'm on such a restricted diet that I can't eat a lot of the stuff they were talking about. I just can't. So there's that. Beginning, dang autocorrect. B, sometimes I think that too. Not the pickle. They are a good pickle. I agree with you, Christoph. The pickle is a very good pickle. But apparently, according to Without a Box of Kleenex, today, pickle is the ringleader. And Steve. But Steve, you got to remember, Steve is always going to be, he is always going to be number one with her now that the NDA is done away with, the 1 year NDA. So she's always going to be there, always going to be that. So I'm just kind of like rolling my eyes anytime they say Steve, because like I said, I know the truth of what went down with her and Steve, and it's not at all like she's just tried to describe it. And initially she did describe it correctly. So I'm don't want to talk about her anymore. I just want to say I'm going to every day count down who the person is she is accusing that day the most. Without Steve, because we know Steve is her number one. We know. Not the pickle. You're right. The pickle is an awesome person. So, real, if you're watching, and I know you sometimes do watch here, you sometimes show up. I hope you do return to the food videos because those are interesting. There's a lot of things I can't eat, but oddly enough, I can eat McDonald's. I know it sounds really strange until you look up and you see the burger patties have a lot of oatmeal in them and the buns are mostly cornstarch. I can handle those things. So that's one thing I've learned in my traveling days is if I have to eat a meal on the run at the airport or whatever, I will sometimes grab McDonald's because I know darn good and well I'm not going to get sick from it. And there are so many different foods that I cannot eat. It's better for me here than it was in the States because there's a lot less processed foods. And the processed foods there are don't have the same levels of chemicals in them. I can't do the preservatives at all. It just makes me crazy, makes me sick. Dizzy, I think you're right about that. There are multiple groups. But here's the thing. I think that everybody, the best thing you can do is quit talking about her. I believe that the hackers and death threat people are somehow connected with Clark Swanson. I don't believe in any way, shape, and form that they're some of the people they're saying. It's definitely not Steve, Dottie, Tina, or Aaron at all. Think what you want about those people. They are not in some kind of evil cabal manipulating people and sending death threats. That is just some kind of fetid fantasy of hers that doesn't even exist. Oh, yeah. Christoph, I think there needs to be a whole lot of apologizing going on. I'm sorry. I apologize for the fact that I took against him and BX at first. And I thought BX Beast Boy was just a whining sad fisher. And I'm sorry for saying that. Now I've watched both of their content quite a bit and I have picked up on who they are, and it's not sad fish or evil, BASTARDs. Dizzy, I'm accused of them. I'm sick of them accusing Aaron too. Aaron is awesome. Yeah, say his name 3 times and he appears. I'm actually kind of surprised he's not here. He must be really busy doing something else. and that's cool too. So though I'm going to the States in a couple of weeks, not a couple days. I don't know why I keep saying a couple of weeks. I'm going Wednesday. I'm leaving Wednesday afternoon. And here's the funny thing. This morning I had to get up and do that thing that you must do if you're going to the US from any foreign country. If you're in a foreign country that the US allows you to come back from, that would be Costa Rica, where I am now. So that's one of them. So I had to do the thing that I don't like doing. I had to get the COVID test. And I just have to tell all y'all, if you have to have a COVID test, you have to just relax your face. Just breathe out, relax, relax, relax. It goes a whole lot better. I've known that since day one because they used to routinely scope my vocal cords and my asthma was really bad to take a look and see what was going down various places. And you have not lived until you've had instruments shoved up your nose, through your sinuses, and down in your throat. It's way worse than having a stupid COVID test. So anyway, this morning I had to go get my COVID test, and because I'm like 48 hours out or something from my flight time. And it was pretty interesting because I'm going out 8 o'clock this morning, right before 8 o'clock, driving to the place where I get my test. Our doctor's office is a mere 5 or 6 minutes from here. That's where I'm having it done. I've scheduled this last week. I'd scheduled this and got there. It was difficult to get there because I experienced the one horrible thing about Costa Rica. One of the horrible things, one of the pains in the asses. Defensive driving. When you drive here, you have to do so defensively. You have to realize that people here don't use turn signals. They will routinely swerve around. They'll stop in front of you. If it's a Pirata Collectivo taxi, they may stop in the middle of the road and you're going, what the hell? Trying not to hit them. So that 5 to 7 minute ride got crazy this morning for me because somebody was moving their cattle across the main highway here, which I say that all the time. That doesn't faze me at all. But I did get to see some of the most common Costa Rican things that do slow you down that are crazy. I got to see a guy on a four-wheeler, and he had a big pile of tires behind him, and he put his arm down on the tires. He's holding this pile of tires like this, and he's driving. And I'm backing away from him because I can just see a tire flying and landing on my windshield and cracking it up. Oh, they punctured your Durham matter. Oh my goodness. Oh, B, that is terrible. Oh, that's terrible, terrible. They haven't done that to me, but I can just see that happening. I can see that happening to me. Hey, small town Jewel. So the guy holding the tires down was pretty crazy. Didn't have a rope or anything. He just has hands sitting on top of it. So when you see those things here, you know you got to back off with your car because you know that at some point he's going to hit that bump where the mud puddle the size of a bathtub is, and those tires are going to go every which way. So I got around him, and somebody else pulled in front of me without looking from one of the side roads. And it was a guy who had like a little Hyundai. I forgot the name of the smallest ones, the little tiny ones. He had it so loaded with construction materials, it was actually bigger than the car. I don't even know how he saw it. He had everything loaded. And he had just a tiny bit of rope holding both things. So I had to get around him too in a hurry because I could just see all those pipes and things falling off. You get to see a lot of crazy things here as far as drivers go. You get to see whole families on motorcycles sometimes. You'll see dad, mama, the little baby held between them, the toddler on the front, and the school-age child in the back. You see that nobody's wearing helmets, and you're like, oh dear. You're like, oh no, please no, don't ride your motorcycle with a baby. So they do that. Small town Jewel, I did get there to get my test. I'm getting to that. So I finally passed everybody and got to where I was going and discovered my COVID test, my 8:15 COVID test. The lady running the tests did not show up until 8:35. Tico time. That is very common here. Tico time is when you have to deal with someone who is local, a Tico, and you first get here and you're like, why aren't they here? Why not? Why not? Why not? Well, Tico time just means that they show up later. They may even show up days later. Like I've seen people hire plumbers and say, hey, come out on Tuesday. And they come out, but they come out 2 Tuesdays away and say, what are you mad about? I'm here. That's Tico time. So for me to have an 8:15, I'm sitting there with the lady who has an 8 o'clock, the guy who has an 8:10, and there are people that are missing too there. And she rolled up 20 minutes later and we're standing there, standing there, standing there. And by that time, there were 30 gringo tourists behind me. So here we are waiting for our COVID test. She finally shows up, sets up, and about 8:40 starts doing COVID tests. I got my number 3 in the list because I was there on time. And as I'm getting mine, the 8 o'clock rolled up and started screaming, oh my God, you got to do my test. I had an 8 o'clock appointment. And this is like 8:45 maybe. So there's that. It's Tico time. But here's where it got really comical for me. Well, I actually had to say something to the people. The people behind me, and there was a large group of Americans, started complaining about the fact that their test had been scheduled and there was nobody there. And I had to turn around and explain, this is Tico time. Doesn't do any good to get mad about it. Don't get stressed out about it. It is what it is, as we say. Well, I am going to complain to the manager. The manager should know this, blah, 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 blah. I was like, you're going to complain to the manager who's probably running on Tico time and might even be here yet. So you're going to pull a male Karen and do this. And it's not anything that is ever going to help. They're just going to look at you funny. So know when you come here that time is not a fixed construct here. Time is whatever the person you have to deal with has made it. So it's much easier to bring a book and just be extremely relaxed, have your cup of coffee, say, okay, it is what it is. They show up when they show up. I tried to explain how, let me talk to the manager, doesn't work here, but they didn't listen. But the other part that happened that was so funny is when I finally did get my test and I was trying to leave, and I was parked in the very back of the clinic lot where they test you for this stuff. There were more people in line, maybe 35 or 40, and I were right behind my car. Go right ahead, Karen. You're right. I saw so many Karens. Oh, thank you. She's sleeping. She's sleeping on my organizer. I'm going to take my trip. So I was explaining, it won't do any good. Just learn to live with Tico time. So as I'm leaving, they're all behind my car. I finally rolled up my window after I started my car up and I've done all my little things that I do before I back up my car. Say, hey, can you guys move a little bit? I need to back up. Here's where it gets really bizarre. No, we're waiting in line for our COVID test. I said, well, can you scooch you over there a little bit so I can? So I got this no. I had to laugh because it's like, look, my car has dents on it. I'm not afraid to put a few more dents on it, but I didn't run anybody over. What I did was backed up a teeny amount and then did that 3-point turn so I could get out of the parking lot and not hit the ambulance that was in my way. So that's her organizer. You're right that she's gonna let you borrow. Yeah, she's definitely going to take it. She's pretty crazy about some things that she lays on. And the quilted organizer, that's apparently hers now. I'm excited about the organizer because one of the things I've always struggled with when I fly, and I don't know about you guys, but I could use some suggestions, is what all do you carry? Last time I carried almost nothing but my purse because of this. This is I know it looks bent. It's a hardwood cane. I use it for balance now because I have such crazy balance issues and it helps. So if I'm chugging along on that little thing, I got to have a small purse. I can't have anything big because I can't handle it. I have a backpack, but I've discovered the backpack is a little bit. So something with zipper compartments that I can put my crap in and haul it on the plane that's light is a win, a big win. Fried green tomatoes, yeah, older and have better insurance, do you? Yes, indeed. The Medea movies, yes. I have seen those. Did you got a wheelchair? I can't find that out. Small town Jewel, I have called. I called and called and called and finally it's trying to call me back at 1:30 in the morning and their prompts don't work. So I've emailed American Airlines and said, hey, what's the deal? 2 days ago, and I have not received a word back. I think when I actually get to the airport and I'm standing in front of the person for American, I'm going to have to say, hey, what the hell? And truthfully, I could probably walk it, especially if I have a tiny purse I can kind of link over my hand. I don't think that's going to be a big deal if they don't. My doctor told me, my neurologist, that he wants me to practice walking without the cane and with the cane and not to take any shortcuts because that's how I'm going to regain my balance again. He may be right. I tried to do the beach the other day and that did not work. I ended up, just because I picked up a shell, I fell down face first. I can handle the beach without the cane, and he's right. Yep, I do remember that. That was pretty crazy, Amanda. So if I don't get a wheelchair, it's okay because I'm not with my husband. I love my husband to death, but one of the crazy things that he does is, and he's like 6'2" or 6'3", so he's way taller than me. I'm probably 5'2". Um, Anytime we go anywhere, and he just gallops ahead with those long, long legs. I couldn't keep up with him before I started with the cane. I definitely can't keep up with him now. I just let him go on his own way and I catch up eventually. But we discovered the whole wheelchair option on our last trip, and I took the wheelchair all the way, and it made travel so much easier because they pushed me to the front of the line. They pushed me through customs. They pushed me through everything. And I have done everything I can to make this the world's easiest trip. I have my international traveler thing here. I would say anybody who's flying in and out of the U.S., you probably need to download the Verifly app. I have my global entry stuff on here, and I also have my TSA pre-check pass on there. But the frustration with that is a lot of airports don't have their TSA pre-check lines open, because if they do, it's the best thing ever. Trying to figure out, trying to carry things and walk away throws my balance like crazy. Small town Jewel, exactly. Well, Amanda, I actually have a children's backpack. I'm going to show it to you. It's not real big. The front pouch, I put all my medicines in. In the back, I have my umbrella. I have various things. I got lipstick, those necessary things. I have got a notebook. I have got my wind filter that I use sometimes when my asthma gets crazy and I'm exposed to somebody. So just a few things I have in it right now. Oh, and that most essential travel thing. This is my little black light sanitizer thing that I got. And so I was originally going to take my backpack, but the balance issue, it throws me off so much now that I'm not going to. I'm going to use that thing because I can just stick it over my arm and be fine. And I'm not going to bring much stuff. I'm not even bringing much in the way of clothes because I always buy clothes when I go back to the States. So I suspect I'll be buying clothes when I'm in the States. I worry you're trying to carry things. Oh, yeah, it does. It does. So that's how I'm going to do. I'm eventually going to use the backpack when I travel, but for now I'm going to do that. I'm not doing a carry-on. I'm packing everything. I'm doing like I always do, the suitcase inside of the suitcase, the little suitcase full of your clothes, your laptop, all your stuff that you're going to use when you get there, and the big suitcase full of nothing but the little suitcase, so that you have extras. And if I run out, I always pack. I have a big like zippered bag that is just the exact same size as a carry-on. I always pack that too, just in case. So I have plenty of crap to carry back. And once you check the bag, if you're not worried about it, it's the most awesome thing in the world. So there we go. Well, Amanda, right now throwing on the back is throwing my balance off. Here's one of the crazy things I've learned, okay, with my balance issues. If my hands are both full, my balance is better. If I'm hanging on to the handle of like a shopping cart, I can walk all day and not fall down. So the balance thing is pretty it's pretty basic, I think, for me in a lot of ways. So I'm trying to do what he's suggesting to recover. We'll see if it works. We'll see if it works. So I'm not going to be traveling with much. I'm going to travel light for a change, and I'm coming back fully loaded with yarn. Yeah, a big suitcase for yarn and other things. Um, my list is actually pretty short this time because we were there in March. I just got to get a pair of black leggings and a couple other things. If I showed you my leggings that I wore yesterday, you guys would laugh because you can read the newspaper through them. So I now, and they also have runs like pantyhose. So now I wear those under a dress that's a little short, just so that I don't flash anybody when I'm traveling, which is always a good idea. Here's what I'm not looking forward to. I'm not looking forward to TSA. TSA has always been a problem. They weren't the last time. They weren't the last time. They just waved me on through, except for one place. I think it was Atlanta. They tried to make me stand up and raise my arms above my head. And I had to tell them, I can't do that. If I do that, I will fall down. And they had taken my cane from me, too. That was the other thing. They will not let you have your cane in the TSA area. They'll give you the TSA cane. And there's one, it's black and white and red. And they'll give you that as metal. So there is that. And the thrift store I went to yesterday, they had canes. So I know now where to go. So we'll see. I've had kind of a mixed relationship with TSA. During the years that Trump was president, everybody I know who wrote for Pathos, including myself and other journalists for other organizations, we always got the deep cavity search every time we went through TSA. And it was a pain in the butt. And I've told this story before. I'm going to tell it again. I was bringing back a cookie jar that my daughter had bought me at a thrift shop. It was a big rooster, a big ceramic rooster. She knows I have the people who originally owned the house have a chicken motif in the kitchen, so I'm kind of stuck with that, getting ready to repaint or remodel in there. And I may toss the kitchen motif, the chicken motif, but I'm going to keep my cookie jar. So I had my big cookie jar. Instead of putting it in my suitcase and letting it broken, I wrapped it in a dirty nightgown and put it in my laptop bag and took my laptop out and put it in my husband's laptop bag. So he's going through customs with 3 laptops, mine, his, and a spare that we bought just in case one of ours conked out. So I'm going through, they're waving him through. I'm going through TSA and I'm getting the deep cavity search. And this is the last time this happened for me. Charlotte Airport. Let me see. No, it wasn't Charlotte. Where was I? Charleston, South Carolina. Everybody been wonderful right up until the point I went through TSA and I popped up on their list and they started searching me. Some poor little 19-year-old kid with his arms down in my laptop bag, feeling around going, what is this? What is this? What is this? I'm saying, that's my cookie jar wrapped in my dirty nightgown. And I've never seen somebody's arms fly out of a bag so fast in my entire life as when he was touching my chicken while I was wearing my dirty nightgown. So that was pretty funny. I've had a lot of good luck flying. I'm hoping that I have the same. I'm hoping that a gate agent sees me struggling along with my cane and gives me some pity and puts me either in the bulkhead or right by where the emergency doors are, because those seats usually have a little extra room. I'm still gonna do that live because all my kids work. My 2 kids will be working and the fiance will be working. So we won't be seeing any of them during the day. So I'm going to have to keep myself amused. I have lots of stuff that I need to do when I get there. One of the things, I need to get on the phone and I need to talk to my bank and do a bunch of banking type stuff. I need to get down to the bank and deposit checks because I have checks that need to go in. Um, so I have enough stuff to keep me occupied, but I'm also bringing my laptop, and I will probably be going live because I know damn good and well I'm going to freak out over the US. I haven't was there in March for just a very short period of time in Louisiana, down in New Orleans. But and I was trying to get the vaccine then. I was trying to get that Johnson and Johnson because they just released it to the public that week that I was in New Orleans, but nobody would give it to me because I had an out-of-state passport. So it was only Louisiana residents at that point. Now it's pretty open to anybody. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. I'm going to get it first day in case I have a bad reaction. At least I'm in the States. Not that they work. I'll be going live. I'm sure I'll go live. I'm sure because I will be bitching about the US. I'm sure. Because the last time I was there, which was Charlottesville, oh, not Charlottesville, Charleston, it was a good visit. But the time before that, in October, hell no, it was terrible. There are times when I go back to the US and I am so shocked by the pace of life, by the roads in the DC area. I'm so shocked that everybody's out and about and there's stores you can actually find and buy stuff. I run through Walmart and knock out my list. This time it's half Walmart, half Dollar Tree, and then there are a couple little things. My pool guys are wanting me to bring them back Under Armour stuff, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I've already done that a couple times for them. I think they're selling it. So there's that. There's that. Also, I need the peace and quiet so I can go back and work on my stupid book that I keep promising, but I haven't quite finished yet. I got to get off the bubble and finish that. And the peace and quiet of everybody else working and me being alone will allow me to do a little bit of that as well as this. So there's that. I have a couple of I have a couple of articles that I owe another writer, both for Pathos and a couple of British publications, including one on group mentality and lynch mobs online and bullying. I'm doing one on that. Hermie's mom, yeah, I don't know how it's going to affect me. My husband got it and nothing happened. He was perfectly fine. All the agents were gawking at my prosthetic leg. The guy looking at the screen actually called everyone over to look at it. Yes, they made me remove it when I removed my shoes. Yeah, Amanda, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be thrift shopping every day I'm there. Charleston had really awesome thrift shops. I got a cube of yarn in weird colors for like $9. It came with knitting needles, and I don't know how to knit, but if Carolyn Ironwill ever comes to visit, she's going to have to teach me. I know how to crochet all night. And I probably won't be bringing a crocheting project with me, maybe a crochet needle. But I always find that stuff. No, small town jewel, there's no dollar stores here. You had to remove your prosthetics. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I agree. No, let me explain about the stores here. San Jose has just about everything. They even have like 3 Starbucks. So when I go there, sometimes we'll get Starbucks because I miss it sometimes. The store situation. I'm here in Tamarindo, and it's the Gold Coast. We're on the Pacific. Most people most expats that move to Costa Rica move to this general area. They move to Playa Avellanas, Playa La Gosta, Playa Tamarindo, Playa Grande, Playa Conchal. In fact, there are 2 huge American communities near Conchal. A couple of them have been seen on House and Garden Network, I think it is, H&G, Better Homes and Garden. I don't remember the name of the network exactly, but they've been shown on theirs, and they're beautiful places. And then you got Flamingo, which is north of there, which is super damn expensive. And I wouldn't live there because quite touristy, and there've been incidents there where tourists have gotten beaten up and robbed. So I stay away from where the rich people are, pretty much. So they the store situation here. This year we got a Mexipoli. Mexipoli is like a Walmart subsidiary. It's like a small Walmart, so you can get some things, but you can't get everything. If you need appliance, you have to go to Goyo or Price Mart in Liberia. It can be a challenge getting things here. There aren't a lot of stores. There aren't a lot of ways to get things, and so that's the challenge of living here. If you live in San Jose, you can get anything. If you live in the boonies, you can't. And the way the traffic is in San Jose, I don't go. I just, unless I absolutely have to, like I went to the neurologist. And that was a flying trip. By the time the neurology appointment was over, I was so bummed out and burned out. I just wanted to get the heck out. We did go to a fancier Price Mart there that has everything. I mean, everything you could ever possibly imagine, including a lot of American foods and things. But again, like I said, because I have severe food allergies on top of other allergies, I have to be really careful what I eat. And sometimes that's a challenge. So that's why I make these crazy shopping runs to the States a couple of times a year, because you just can't get everything here. There are quilting stores in San Jose, and they do have great stuff. The problem is they charge an arm and a leg. I have seriously thought here about starting a quilting store or like an online fabric thing for here, because I worked for long while at a art studio slash best quilt shop in that part of Virginia, and I know all the suppliers, and I've talked to suppliers before about this, and they're eager to come here to Costa Rica. I just don't know if I really want to work that hard at this point in my life. So I'm going back, I'm buying yarn, I'm buying some fabric, I'm going into the Dollar Tree and raiding all of their Zyrtec. They have a Zyrtec knockoff that you can get 30 of them for $1. So that's not how cheap it is here. So we're doing that. B, do they usually make you take your leg off when you go through security? They made me hand over my cane, and that was bad enough. And I have to take I got to take my VPAP with me. That's how it is in some of the small towns here in Georgia, but in the other ones, Walmart is fully stocked. No Dollar Generals, nothing like that here. There are a couple of cheaper stores. If you're looking for something just really cheap, you can go to the Chinese grocery store. They have any number of crazy things there. So if you're looking for something really odd, you go there. They just opened the consignment thrift store here, and that was good. That's where I got my travel thing. I got the bracelet I was wearing yesterday for almost nothing. I got a whole lot of the Gutermann yarn, the good stuff, the European stuff, to make my poor Bernina sewing machine work. It will not work with Coates and Clark. It just will not. I don't know why. So you have to. Small town, I'll probably do some crocheting. I'm sure I'm going to sit around with my kids and watch movies and TV and stuff. Especially since my daughter loves 90 Day Fiance, and she knows that I love After Lockup. So I could imagine that by Saturday or Friday, we're going to be watching both of those shows. So I don't know why they would take it off, except I'm going to say this. One time I flew and I fractured my kneecap, and they determined I did not need a cast, but they put me on this. They gave me this, I guess it's an orthopedic support, and it was hinged, and you put it on and it supports your knee and it holds the kneecap in place. TSA made me take that off. And then they had to run all these tests on it because it made the plastic explosive thing show that I had plastic explosives in my knee brace. So I went through that with them. I really think that TSA is one of those things that needs to be completely overhauled and done away with. And because one guy has a shoe bomb, now we all have to take off our shoes. Lisa and Stan. Oh, I've got to talk about Lisa and Stan. Um, yeah, I wouldn't get as much done, I'm sure. Lisa and Stan. Lisa and Stan. Oh my goodness. Stan is a creepy old man. If you watch Love After Lockup, Stan has on a toupee. It's grizzled gray right here, but the toupee sits on top and it is black. It looks like the most fake thing you've ever seen. I'm just looking. The first time he appeared, I was like, oh my God, look at that toupee. And then he got his girlfriend Lisa out of jail, and Lisa's son is having issues. It sounds to me like he's really got some depression and like mental health issues that came about because of how he was raised and how he didn't have his mother for a lot of his life. So he's telling his mother he's suicidal and all this stuff. Lisa's concerned and wants to go see her son, and Stan is furious. Since the second she walked out of the prison, Stan has treated her like she's a walking, talking sex doll that he's going to hump silly, and not a person with thoughts and feelings and needs. None of that. He just doesn't want to be inconvenienced. He says some crap about her not raising her kids right, which, man, she's nicer than me. I would have smacked him in the head for that shit. I do not put up with that from anybody. That toupee, Hugh Hefner wannabe. Somebody told me that he was more of a, what do you call it? That he was like if you ordered Hugh Hefner from Wish, you get Stan. And that could well be because Stan. I'm not sure any of the relationships on Love After Lockup this year are going to work. I'm just not sure. Usually there's one or two where they work out and things go normally. But this whole panel, this whole bunch is just pretty crazy. And somebody said something on Reddit the other day that I thought was important that I hadn't really thought about. All of those people, their relationships, I'm not talking about the people on prison, because clearly, there are issues going on there because they're isolated. There's nothing to do but write letters to all these men and women. I can see how you might form an emotional relationship if you're locked up and that's your only really contact with the outside world. But what about these people that are looking for prisoners, who are writing prisoners only, who are only dating prisoners? I hate to throw, mental illness, but to me, it looks like something's maybe not right there. Some of these people have such stuff going on that they can't find a partner in real life, or it's too intimidating. I don't know. But I look at them and I think they're possibly sicker than some of the prisoners. It sounded like Lisa's not into Stan at all. She's into women, it sounded like to me. Deontay, I can't even think of the name of the girl. Nicole, and little Nicole. Deontay is deluded. This is his second prison girlfriend. The first one clearly was just using him apparently for money. The second one, I would say it's the same thing. I don't much like her, but his behavior is also creepy. He really, all these people, a lot of them, they don't give the person coming out of prison any kind of space to just be themselves and to decompress. They all want to get married right away. I think you have to let these people recover from prison and feel normal again before they can have any kind of relationship. I don't care how many rolls of bologna you buy and how much crazy sex you're having with the guy with the ankle monitor on. There's that. I think that's what's going to happen. I've seen a lot of these guys. I've seen some of these guys have since been arrested for domestic violence, which is never cool, which is not cool at all. You'd hope that they wouldn't do that. Some of them have. And in Reddit, Love After Lockup, they're all talking about, do you remember the crazy girl from last year? I can't even think of her name right now to think about it. What was her name? Heather G. She was the one with Dylan, and Dylan seemed like the normal one, and she was the one that was wackadoodle. Yesterday, she was posting on her Instagram every couple of seconds. She was posting like crazy. And it seemed kind of like the deluded rantings of somebody that's maybe got mental issues, big time, like schizophrenic, something really strange. And it's just kind of sad to watch. I think that these shows exploit these people These people that would normally never be successful in any way, shape, or form, some of them live through it and are okay. Last year, John and Christiana, I would have never thought they'd have made it, but apparently they're still married and maybe expecting a baby, I heard. But who knows? It's actually your son. Yeah, yeah. She is smart for not letting him come over, but he handled everything else wrong. Exactly. He handled so many things wrong. Stan does not seem to think she's a real person. He wants somebody who's going to say and do exactly what he wants. He doesn't have any desire for somebody who's got problems or is a real person. Stupid wigs. He bought her so many wigs and she didn't like them. She's ended up with a crazy looking one now. So there's that. And Nicole Jr. Nicole. It's too much pressure for these people to come into a ready-made family without any time to adjust the outside world. Exactly, Amanda. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that the way that a lot of these people are acting is anything even remotely normal. And I don't think you can say that and say, oh, I think that they'll be fine. So it's kind of like train wreck TV. And there's times I watch it and I'm like, why am I watching this? But it's something my husband and I watch together. That and Breaking Bad. He has finally jumped on the Breaking Bad bandwagon with me. I watched Breaking Bad when it first aired. Now I'm going back over the series and I'm watching it in order because I didn't get to do that the first time because I started watching during season 3. So we're watching it together and he's gotten about as addicted to it as I ever was. And you're right, the producers do need to offer resources to castmates instead of straight up exploiting them for entertainment. And that's what they're doing. This is all exploitation. That's the problem with reality TV is it does exploit some people who are in the most vulnerable places. Which leads me back to without a box of Kleenex and the Nat situation. Again, I think everybody trying to talk to Nat and allowing her to spin her little tales is exploiting her. We just need to leave that poor girl alone and let her get some treatment. Know that she has told so many different stories. There's no way to trust her now. Anyway, I need to go. I need to get in the pool for the last, what is today? I need to get in the pool and do some stuff. But it's gotten cloudy. There are several couples who succeeded. Yeah, they have. Most of them have not. And some of them are really pathetic, Amanda. Like, do you remember Tony and Angela? Angela chasing him everywhere, making him sign that list of stuff he's forbidden to do. I know she picked that up from all of her counseling training. Because sometimes when you have problematic clients, if they're threatening to do something you think is exactly wrong, you write up a contract, you force them to sign it in front of you, and you keep it on file and say, no, you can't do that. You promised me in a contract that you would not do that, like kill yourself. So, okay, you guys, have a great day. I'm going to go get in the pool. And then I'm going to run around and go shopping. I've got to get some things. My people from the States are asking me for guaro. I need to get a giant bottle of guaro. I already have a 3-pound bag of coffee beans. Enjoy your day.